How you doing, YouTube? Matt, Massive Beer Reviews, back with yet another review. It's fucking pastry stout time to the fucking nth degree in the form of Prairie Artisan Ales. It is part of their Prairie Dawgs series, and it is all pies on me. Yeah, this beer comes courtesy of Keith. Thank you very much, brother. He got this via other routes and bits and pieces. I don't know the whole ins and outs of this, but from my basic beer knowledge, and correct me if I'm wrong, beer nerds out there, but basically what it was Prairie was like, hey, we're going to offer you members of this club that you could join the ability to just throw whatever the fuck you want into a barrel of beer within reason. You know, make a beer and throw a bunch of adjuncts into it, basically an imperial stout, an age it in bourbon, in this case bourbon and apple brandy barrels, and then you get to pick up the beers. So that was their whole thing. So it's been a year or so in the making. And yeah, this kind of fell in my lap. So I'm going to review it. We're going to talk about it and see what's what. As far as what the label says, he said it's Prairie Dawgs. It's all pies on me. And by pies, I mean it actually has the pie symbol and a Z. And then it says this is an imperial stout, aged in bourbon barrels and apple brandy barrels with cinnamon, vanilla, and caramel. Not that crazy. 14% alcohol by volume. And it's basically just a bunch of bits and pieces of cakes and candies and all kinds of fun stuff floating around. And Prairie Artisan Ales, government warning stuff, done and done. This, you're not going to be able to see this. I wish I had a light to show you guys. Like, there's actual, like, filth and funk on this. I can see from the outside of the goddamn beer, so I have no idea what the hell's going to go on in this fucking thing. So, yeah, anyway, give it a pour. Yeah, let's fucking motor oil. Did we expect anything else? I mean, hopefully there's not just crazy amounts of chunks of shit in here, because you can't. Especially up here, there's like just filth. Like it looks like filth, floor and filth. Like you just wouldn't even feed that thing Jello or anything. That's how crazy it is. So as you can see, it's just filth. Like the whole glass is just, there's shit floating around in it. If I give it the old swirl, you're just gonna have bits and pieces of particulate floating around. It's a pretty disgusting looking beer, if you're perfectly honest with you. Not much of a head on it with all that kind of bits and pieces of particulate floating around in it. You wouldn't expect much of anything, and yeah, she looks like a stout. Ugh. Let's see if I can get a nose on her. Holy shit, that's hot. That is big, huge bourbon, big, huge brandy. It's just like over the top, like cranked to 11 Spinal Tap level shit. But you do get that cinnamon in there. You get a big pop of cinnamon. There's vanilla. There's I mean, they say caramel. It comes off a little bit more like maple syrup. Maybe that's the booze mixing in there. And there's a big, huge kind of roasted malt stout, just gigantic, cranked to the max kind of beer in there. I mean, this is just volume. It is literally Sodom and Gomorrah. It is every bit and piece of every kind of, like, this is like, I don't even know what analogy I want to make. I was going to make me like, okay, let's smoke crack and do heroin and sort coke all at the same time, but in the beer form. I have not done that, not in singular form or in multiple forms, but yeah, it's just like totally opulent, totally like just, you know, it's like wiping your ass with a $100 bill. Basically, that's what you're doing right here. Yeah. Something kind of tickles me pink about it, though, to be perfectly honest with you. Sometimes just being crazy for the sake of being crazy works. So it smells like confectionery craziness, donuts, and everything you can possibly imagine. And there's a beer involved. Let's dive in. Cheers. It's not that bad. It's not that bad. It's actually probably way more beer than I was going to give it credit for. There's a beer there. There's a big, huge imperial stout. It doesn't drink all that hot, which is absolutely, without a doubt, the most surprising thing I've experienced over the past week or month or past several months, because that nose was so blatantly hot. I expected it to just literally be like gasoline, but it's not. It's actually quite soft. It didn't give me any kind of alcohol burn whatsoever. It's a bit thin, but with how much adjunct and how much spirit, I'm assuming these went in really fucking wet barrels, I'm really, really surprised how not hot it is. But at the same time, I'm not super surprised about how thin it is. There's a big stout involved. That's nice. The cinnamon comes through. There's a nice bit of vanilla in there. I mean, the caramel portion of the show I don't really get. And yeah, it's actually kind of nice. I like it. It's not the best beer I've ever had in history of mankind. It's not the best barrel-aged beer. It's not the best barrel-aged adjunct-laden beer. It's not the best huge imperial stout. But it's fun. I mean, it's probably by far and away the most disgusting looking beer. Like, there is just, this is filthy. I mean, you can see it by the glass. I don't even have to tilt it how fucking disgusting it is. It's by far and away the most disgusting beer I probably ever drank visually. But it doesn't taste that bad. It doesn't taste nearly like what it looks like. But at the same time, it's not like overly impressive. You know, it just tastes like a big stout. It was thrown in big barrels, a whole bunch of adjuncts thrown in it. You kind of usually call that homebrew, and that's kind of how it comes off a little bit. There's nothing negative about the beer. There's no off flavors, not that you would detect them with all the shit floating around in it. But at the same time, it just comes off a little bit homebrew, and it kind of makes sense in that light, because if you think about it, they just basically said, general public, make what you want, and when general public makes what they want, they make homebrew. There's a reason why there's professional brewers and there's people that brew at home. There's a disconnect there. There's lessons that are learned. There's a little bit of nuance and skill and all that stuff involved. So it kind of makes sense. This is kind of the beer that we produced. But I'm going to tell you right now, based on what I saw on the lip of that bottle before I even poured it, to the way the nose came off, to the way it looks like in here, it is the, well, the fucking, what, the lesson? The fable, the whatever you want to call it, don't judge a book by its cover, because the beer is not nearly as bad as what it looks like. That being said, it's not like otherworldly at the same time, but it's fun. You know, I like the kind of just shitting on shit for the sake of shitting on shit, because you like to make fun of the way the culture is, which I think is where this beer goes. So I think a lot of people actually subscribe to this beer and actually helped create this beer, kind of fed into that kind of, okay, the brewery is trying to make fun of that, and people thought they weren't, and they thought they were being cool about it. That's a whole nother discussion, but back to the beer, not the social commentary. Is it one of the better? Let's just jump to the chase. Is it one of the better barrel-aged imperial stouts I've had? Like, no, but it's one of the most grotesque looking, but at the same time, it's not too bad tasting wise, so it's just a weird beer nonetheless. Value and availability, no idea. I mean, it's part of their club. I think you had to plunk down at least $500 to even get one of these beers made. And then you had to go pick up an allotment, yada, 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 and leave you with, if you like, what way you like this beer. If you like kooky madoogie shit, weird, kind of off the color, kind of sideways, just, you know, almost like this is almost like you have to be a troller. You're like trolling and just making fun of shit in order to really grasp the soul of this beer. Because that's what I think people who made it thought, but at the same time I think the brewers are making fun of the people that made it. Anyway, if you like barrel-aged beers, if you like adjuncts, if you like stouts, this is going to do you, because how bad it looks, both literally and figuratively, it's not that bad of a beer. Just not that otherworldly either. So there we go, little Prairie Dogs in a book. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Down there if you want to talk about it. Massive Beers if you want to check me out doing the social media stuff. Beer Massive if you want to check me out doing the whole podcasting thing. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the review. Hopefully enjoying this little Prairie Dogs right now. Hope to see you next time. Cheers.